Back Row Ministry of the World Permit, Mr. Martin coming at you live and direct. Oh, make sure we're still recording. I guess we are. So, come off my usual tirades and talk about Star Wars and all the Star Wars fluff that's going out there and the complaints about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And if you haven't watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know it's a series that's on Disney Plus. I had to stop watching it. I mean, I just had to stop watching it. Because this one scene here of a person being stabbed with a lightsaber, and you see the lightsaber physically goes through this person's body. If you've been watched movies where a person and a sword goes to their body at this angle and it's pulled out, you that person dead. The internal bleeding, everything's going to take place. And we know the damage that a lightsaber can cause because we've seen the lightsaber slice off a guy's hand like it ain't nothing. Very vicious scene in Empire Strike Back where Luke Skywalker's hand is just totally removed by the lightsaber. And in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, lightsabers just go through people's bodies and they're just perfectly fine. They're just okay. They get up and they just go on to the next episode and everything's okay. Who do we have to blame for this? Do we blame Disney? No, don't blame Disney. We blame this guy, George Walton Lucas, for greed, selling his property to a company that didn't really give a damn about it. And, you know, a perfect example of what happens when you create something and you put it into the hands or put it into the wrong hands. And money will make you do this. You thinking that they're going to protect your property and protect the things that you created. And, you know, now pretty much your legacy is destroyed. They don't really give a fuck about what you created. They never really cared. They just wanted to make money. And everything that you created now has been just distorted, destroyed, and pretty much made into a comedy so they can get paid. And this is what happens when greed gets in the way. Instead of giving this property over to someone who didn't offer him $3 billion, but offered him enough where he knew his property was going to be in safe hands and they would continue to build it, would have been a good move. Take $1 billion. Give it to somebody who you know gives a damn about what you've created and the stories you told. Allow them to build it. He gives it to a conglomerate for $3 billion, and this is what he gets. This is what they do to it. Now, they're making money off of it, but they're destroying everything that he's done, everything that he's created, destroying the legacy, making it where you don't even want to watch Star Wars anymore. The last 3 frames, I can care less about them. Totally worthless. Started off like they were headed somewhere, and then they just did not know where they wanted to head. But this is what happens when greed gets in the way. You have situations where lifesavers can go through people and then they get off and go to the next episode. So this happened twice. Remember now, she stabbed the Grand Inquisitor in the same spot and he just appears in the next episode and nobody explains it. So to young writers, this is the problem with a lot of these new writers. This is why movies are flopping. This is why plots are sucking. Because you got a lot of writers out there who get away with garbage like this. My daughter can write better than this. This is something that a child would write. Oh, you can stab them and then they'll come back like it's a video game. No, this is a story. In a story, if someone stabbed, we still got to have some form of realism in the story. We've seen the damage that this weapon can cause. We've seen this weapon remove hands. If you get stabbed with this weapon, It's going to kill you. This is a powerful weapon. That's why everybody can't just yield it. Look what happened when Finn tried to yield it and the damage it caused him. This is a weapon that causes mass damage. And one of the most powerful Sith Lords stabs this person with it, and they're just in the next episode. That is lazy, sorry writing. Sorry writing to the core. You don't care about what you're writing at that point. You don't care what people think about it. And as a writer, you should be ashamed to even write material that is this unrealistic. But this is what Hollywood is producing, and then they're saying, okay, why are we losing viewers, or why are people not tuning in? Why are we going to in these streaming sources? They're already starting to tune out on some of these streaming sources because the material is starting to suck. And Star Wars is falling victim to this. You got a bunch of people who really don't care about what they're writing. You got a lot of young writers out there, Disney. You got a lot of young writers out there who really give a fuck, who just want an opportunity. And instead of giving these young writers an opportunity who really care about the material, who have some ideas, who are able to create it, kind of like the gentleman that, kind of worked on The Mandalorian, came up with some new ideas, put them out there, tried them, they work. You don't do that. You don't give it to these type of people. You give it to people who don't even give a damn about the materials that's available to them. And they just give you garbage. They just give you garbage. So if an actor's given garbage, that's what they're going to produce. So I don't knock the young lady that played Reva. I haven't seen her in a lot of pieces. I haven't seen her in a lot of shows or seen her in the Queen's Gambit. What I saw in this, I did not like. I don't think that she really gave me anything to show that she's an accomplished actress. She needs some better material. I thought that she was just trying to be hardcore. And it wasn't coming across as genuine. And then you made the Inquisitors look totally incompetent in the first couple of minutes of episode 1. It was totally worthless after that. They were just worthless people. If you've ever played Jedi Fallen Order, the second sister, you don't want to face her. For the first time you meet her, she is intimidating. You're running, you're dodging. Even at the end, if you got to Jedi Fallen Order, even in the end, she's still the same intimidating presence. You don't know how it's going to go. And Darth Vader, at the end of Jedi Fallen Order, you can't even, it's pretty much, you fighting, you running. There's no way you can beat Darth Vader. You're running for your life. He's that powerful in Jedi Fallen Order. But there's some fear with the Inquisitors. You're fearing them. You know that they're a force. In this, they're just totally incompetent. They have no structure, no discipline. Everybody's doing whatever the hell they want to do. And that's what you get. Sorry ass writing. They did not take the time to really develop an Obi-Wan story. And really, what can you really do? That was the whole thing with them coming up with Obi-Wan. What can you do? What can you do? We know Obi-Wan is on Tatooine. We know Obi-Wan is overwatching or is paying attention to Luke. We know that Luke knows Obi-Wan. That was the stupid part of this show. For those who have watched Star Wars, Luke knows Obi-Wan as Old Ben. If I know a person as a person, I know him as Old Ben. And he says, I wonder if they talking about Old Ben. That's the only person I know that got the name Ben. Luke says this. So he knows of this person. He's seen this person. He's had interactions with this person. But we don't get to see how the hell they know each other. They take us off to Leia's world as though Leia has no importance whatsoever in Star Wars. When Star Wars is basically Leia. The beginning of Star Wars is Leia. We're trying to save Leia. Leia and Obi-Wan don't know each other. She's been protected and watched over by the Organas. Everybody knows that. That's common sense. That's the separation. You don't even want Obi-Wan going that way. You don't want any idea that these kids are alive. And it's not Darth Vader who created the idea for the idiots who wrote this and did not read the source material. It's the Emperor who created this. The emperor knew all the time that the children were still alive. He just did not know where they were. And to keep Darth Vader under wraps and check, he lied to him. Remember, he told him the kids was dead. He knew the kids weren't dead. He knew the kids weren't dead at all. But he wasn't going out to find them because he did not want Darth to go look for them. That's why he acted like they didn't even exist to him. And that was the emperor's weakness. His vanity, his arrogance was his weakness. And that's why Darth Vader is the true hope of Star Wars. If you watch the series, it's always been around but Darth Vader. Darth Vader was the person to bring balance to the Force and destroy the Emperor. And his children were the thing that helped him at the end. His relationship with his son, his love for his son, his love for his children. Him realizing Luke's love for Leia kind of helped him overcome his hurdle and brought him back into the light. So, if you have intellectual property, if you have things you've created, and you're looking to sell them, don't say, don't always go looking for the highest bidder. And, that's what George Lucas did. That's what George Lucas did. He looked for the highest bidder, and they destroyed his shit. He deserved every minute of it. And I know he's watching everything he created go down in the toilet, be pissed on. But hey, he deserves it. I don't feel sorry for him. This is what greed gets you. When he could have gave that property. $1 billion. Think about it. Some of us will never see $1 billion in our life. If I give you $1 billion on top of what you already got, because it's not like George didn't have no money going into this. He's already got millions of dollars. He might have had $1 billion. They offered him $3 billion. He could have took $1 billion, gave that material to somebody who actually gave a damn and could have built on his legacy. That would have actually even had the decency to come and talk to him about creating new source material. Disney don't give a damn. Disney's sitting back trying to just one agenda after the next. And their agendas don't make any sense. Their agenda agendas make no sense. They're acting like, well, there's never been a strong female character in Star Wars. Then who the hell is Princess Leia? Who is this woman? She's just garbage. And what is her purpose exactly? Or she's just chasing Han Solo around or something? What is her purpose? You just minimize the most powerful woman in the universe. And then you bring her back 30 years later and you talking about female power and women liberation. And she's still in charge of the rebellion that she's already been victorious. She should be the goddamn leader. If you really gave a damn about the women, she should be the leader. Instead, she's still running around in the rebellion doing absolutely nothing. If you wanted her to have force power, why didn't you write something where we see her having learned force powers from Luke? Yeah, that could have been in the first movie. We don't even get that. We don't get anything. But you give a damn about women. No, you don't. If you cared about women, you would develop those characters and you would add on to characters that already have meant something to so many young women. You don't give a damn about women. You don't care. And a lot of times what people need to remember, it's men, majority of men, some of your men, they're screenwriters, are other men writing these characters' roles. No disrespect to the character of Reva, but they could have did, if you're going to have a character, write something about the character. Give us something. Give us some source material that makes sense. Give her something. Give her some meaning. Give her something. She had nothing. Even Ice Cube's character had something. Ice Cube's son, his character had something. O'Shea's character had something. You kind of felt it. And O'Shea is a pretty good actor. Even with small stuff, he's still able to kind of bring it to you. But at least he had a little bit to work on. Now, he's in a garbage script, too. And I've seen O'Shea in a lot of other better material that O'Shea just ran with it. He just ran with it. He made it something. He had you like, damn, he's got it. He's got it. And I've seen him do that on many occasions. He can't do anything with this. This is garbage. This is garbage. And, with me, I'm African American. You can't play the black card on me. Can't play that card on me. Good material is good material. Garbage is garbage. This is garbage, and that young lady has been cast in a garbage road. She can't do anything with. Hey, even Halle Berry had to step up and say Catwoman was trash. Trash is trash. This is garbage. And this is poor, not giving a damn writing. And like I say, going back to common sense 101. If you get stabbed like this, how the hell are you still alive? And for anybody to say that this is good writing and these episodes are good, come on, man. Let's just go back to common sense 101. A person gets stabbed and they just come back in the next episode, everything's good. We don't even see how they got patched up. We don't even know how she got out of this situation. She just pops up. You don't even see that in cartoons. They just got a part 1, part 2. She just gets up. She's okay. Who the hell can say that's good writing? And I'm seeing a lot of different reviews. Oh, it was so great. Come on, man. Stop. Don't. This is why these companies get away with this. Because nobody wants to be honest. Freeze it where it is. Good writing is good writing. But when you let them get away with somebody being stabbed with a death blow twice and they just get away with it and you just go on to the next episode and you don't question it, who's the idiot? The writer or the fool that just goes along with the story? Your kid can write a better story. That's something that a kid would write. Oh, and Johnny got stabbed in the neck, and then he was at school next day. An 8-year-old would write that, and you was like, well, how did Johnny get stabbed in the neck? Well, it's just a story, Dad. That's what an 8-year-old would write. An 8-year-old would bring realism to that. Not when you're a grown person. You don't bring realism to stupid shit. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. A story, although when we say it's fictional, it still has to make some sense. How did the person repair themselves? How did they get better? What was the healing time? That'll be like if you ever seen, I know a lot of people seen Fistful of Dollars. That'll be like Fistful of Dollars. Clint Eastwood gets the hell beat out of him. Then the next scene, Clint just walks into town strolling like he just didn't get the brakes beat off him. Clint got beat so bad he got to sneak out of town. He's got to go through the healing process. He can't even shoot. He got to get his hand up to shoot. And this happened more than one time with Clint. This happened on several occasions with Clint. Where he's got beat down. He's got to put himself back together to be able to kind of shoot and get back in the game. He just didn't take a beat and come back to the next scene. Oh, I'm ready to have a shootout. Sergio Leone ain't write stupid stuff like that. So we went from intelligence writings from the time of Sergio Leone to idiots who now write for Disney, and they're gonna teach young people how to be screenwriters by writing stupid stuff like this, and then they want to know why their material is talked about like a dog. It doesn't make any sense. If you got source material and it's difficult, which this is difficult because you already know the outcome. You really have to dig on yourself to create a story. Are there stories that they could have got out of Obi-Wan? Yes. There's a lot of different ways you could have went with it. You just had to sit down and really, really think about what some things that Obi-Wan could have been going through during that period. What was he doing in that period? Because we know things were still taking place. Because the Inquisitors, if we do the canon piece and add the Inquisitors piece, yeah, it's some room. It's some room that you can work with. It's some room that you can work with. And just go back to Star Wars itself. Dissect the hell out of it. Just dissect the hell out of it until you pull a story out of it that you can use. You can pull that story out. Okay? Why suddenly did Organa contact or have Leia contact Ben Kenobi? It's been doing some stuff inside of that period previous that lets him know that he's still active and functional in the rebellion. Does Obi-Wan know about the rebellion? Is stuff going on in Tatooine where, hey, with the Hutt and everybody in there, there's some stories there. So there's a lot of stuff that's there. Remember, Chewbacca's there. Chewbacca's there. He knew of Chewbacca, and we know if you just add on the stuff that was in the prequel, there's a relationship between him and Chewbacca. He knows of Chewbacca. And in Star Wars, Chewbacca introduced him to Han Solo. He goes to Chewbacca and has the conversation, and then Chewbacca introduced him to Han. So it's stuff going on inside of that. Stuff going on inside of that. And it could have been a relationship with him and Chewbacca previous to the Han Solo piece. So a lot of things couldn't explore. Difficult to write, but a writer embraces difficulty. This is garbage. This is garbage. And there's nobody to blame for the destruction of their property and their story but George Lucas. Because this is what greed gets you. At the end of the day, this is where greed gets you. So it's sad to see a great piece of writing kind of be demolished like this, but hey, he's got nobody to blame but himself. He should have known what he was getting into when he gave his property to Disney. And the risk of really, really bad writers taking over your stuff. And, you know, word to future writers. For us that love movies, us that love good storytelling, please don't write stories like that. Use some common sense. Challenge yourself when you're writing stories. That's how you give people good, quality, strong stories that mean something. Try to improve on what you did the last time. That's why The Empire Strikes Back is such a great sequel, because it improved on Star Wars. It took us deeper into the story. It gave us all sorts of twists and turns. It was a very complex piece of writing. It was, an excellent piece of writing. And anytime you write, you got to pull out what you can get. Grab what you can grab. It can be simple sometimes, as long as it's a compelling story to keep the viewer in it. And, it takes them somewhere. But when you're just giving people garbage because they're going to tune in. And like I say, no publicity is bad publicity. So Disney know what they're doing. They still getting people to view. When they got people watching garbage. They get paid off. They don't give a fuck. Still, hey, you watched it. It is what it is. I was done after 5 when people got stabbed for the second time and the Inquisitors showed up. Like, anybody can just get stabbed and just, go on to the next part of the story, next episode. It totally makes sense. We get better stories from 8th graders. 8-year-olds can write better stories than that. Mr. Maki.